Next one that I want to end with is an example so that you understand the information I provided to you. If it's the first time of you learning about mixed method, I think it might be a lot of information, but let's use this example to help you to better understand how to apply some of the approaches that you have learned. Imagine your purpose statement is, the purpose of the study is to examine the experience of burnout among health workers and to determine whether meditation will significantly reduce the levels of burnout. You look at this purpose, there are two main things that you are focusing on. First, you want to examine the experience of burnout among health workers. And secondly, you want to find out whether meditation can reduce burnout. So the first step is to think about your research question. So you're going to have two research questions because you are focusing on two issues. So the first research question could be, how do health workers experience burnout? And the second one is, what is the effect of meditation on burnout? So these are the two research questions that you have to think about. So the next one is to determine which one is the qualitative research question and which one is quantitative. So you can see that the first one is qualitative because it's open-ended. The second one is quantitative because you want to find out the effect of meditation on burnout. So that makes it a quantitative. And then you have to think about, okay, what kind of mixed method design do you have to use? So just think about it. What kind of mixed method should we use? Should we use concurrent mixed method design or sequential? If it's concurrent, what specific mixed method design do you have to use? This is more of a concurrent mixed method design, and it's a concurrent nested. It's nested because the quantitative approach is playing a small role in the study. The quantitative approach is only focusing on meditation and its effect on burnout. But a qualitative approach is focusing on the general experience of burnout. And sometimes they will talk about the solutions too. So the qualitative approach is addressing almost all the aspects of your study in terms of burnout. Qualitative approach is focusing on only one aspect, how meditation affects or the effect of meditation on burnout. So that's why I selected concurrent nested mixed methods design. So now we have to think about the tip: theoretical lens, timing, integration, purpose, and also priority. So in terms of theoreticalness, because qualitative is going to play a major role, you have to let your theoretical lens should be explicit. This means that you have to talk about it for people to know. In terms of the timing, it's concurrent because you are using concurrent nested design. Integration, we can combine qualitative and quantitative data at the data analysis part by transforming the quantitative findings and then adding that information to the qualitative findings. Or you can analyze them separately, right? You can analyze the qualitative portion and quantitative portion separately, but when you go to interpretation stage, you can combine them to make sense of what is really happening. Then you have to think about the purpose. The purpose is complementarity because qualitative approach cannot answer all questions. There's an aspect that you only quantitative approach can do, which is the effect of meditation on burnout, where you have to collect numbers and find out whether meditation have an effect on burnout. That cannot be done using qualitative approach. So that's why complementarity will be the best. Quantitative findings will be helping to complement the qualitative finding. In terms of the priority, quantitative is less dominant, right, compared to the qualitative approach. So the next one is to determine the data source and then so the sample size. we know that for the qualitative portion, you can use a phenomenological approach because you are capturing the experience of participants. For the quantitative portion, you can use quasi-experimental design because you're going to identify maybe two groups, the control group and experimental group, and the experimental group will be given meditation to see whether it will have an effect on burnout, and then you can compare the two groups, right? So that's why you can use the quasi-experimental design. In terms of the data source, our data source will be health workers for both qualitative and quantitative. The number of participants for the qualitative could be 12 to 15 participants. The number of participants for the quantitative could be 176. If you want to conduct independent t-test to find out whether there's significant difference between two groups, if you are focusing on two groups concerning this issue. Then you have to think about the data collection strategy. How are you going to collect data? You can do interviews for the qualitative portion, and also for quantitative portion, you can do a survey. First, you survey the group that used meditation and the group that did not use meditation, and then find out the levels of burnout. So in terms of data analysis, you can use thematic analysis, develop themes based on what you found to help you to capture the experience of participants. But for the quantitative portion, you can use independent t-test to find out whether there's statistically significant difference between the two groups that you have. That's how you can think about designing and implementing a mixed method design. Thank you so much, and we will talk again. I appreciate your time. Thank you.